So I was watching TV and I saw some commercials with a place that I was familiar with. And, you know, that place is the road we're standing under right now. It's called the Linn Cove Viaduct. It's a marvel of engineering. It's one of my favorite spots on the Blue Ridge Parkway. And you can hear tons of cars going over it. When you go over it, it feels like you're flying. I made a video here previously, but it's a little outdated because I've had more experiences here. I've done some more photography in the area. And I also wanted to come here and try that shot that I saw on the commercials. See if I could capture some cool car video going over the viaduct itself. We also recently did a hike up to the top of Grandfather Mountain. You guys will see a view of that. We're on the side of it right now in a rock field that was preserved. The whole purpose of building this viaduct was to preserve that rock field so that, you know, a roadway or a tunnel wouldn't destroy the side of the Grandfather Mountain. A lot of conservationists. You can hear the cars roaring over. There's a lot of motorcycles that love to drive here. Now here I am at the spot where I'm pretty sure most of those commercials are shot. It's this rock that I'm sitting on right now. And this is the same rock where you'll see some shots of the cars passing by. And I want you guys to tell me which one's your favorite. Do you guys like the one where I, you know, start at the car, zoom out, following it? Or do you like the one where I follow the car and zoom in? Or do you like the other one, you know, doing it the other way? You know, let me know in the comments. Here's the spot. I've shown a ton of people here. Every time I hike here, it seems like somebody's looking for it. So I always show it to them because, you know, my first time here, someone showed it to me. It was actually this guy named, I forget his name, but I actually remember his dog's name, even though it was like 2 years ago. His dog's name was Misty. I also want to note that I got this shot as well, which I think if I were to sell a car, I'd use this one because it ends on the no pedestrians allowed sign. And I just think, you know, where's the car commercial that ends on that shot? You know, that's perfect. You know, there's some places you can't just walk to. So right behind me is a great big boulder. There's the viaduct. It goes horizontally right there. Through this gap in the trees is actually a valley. It's a little bright out there though, the sun's shining. And then underneath this boulder right here is where more of the trail is. And then further down, there's a long pillar that goes all the way down to like a creek bed, I think. It's really cool. I love it here. Something neat about this viaduct, while you guys see this pillar right here and the, you know, horizontal bit here, you see the rock field. Most of the Blue Ridge Parkway was finished and started around the 1940s. And this bit didn't get built until the 80s because they couldn't figure out the logistics of it. It took a long time. Once construction started, it was pretty quick. This took about 4 years to build. There's only one piece that's straight, and I think there's 158 different pieces. They constructed them separately, brought them up here, and then loaded them. They actually built it from the top down. They built the road that you guys see. It was about 7 miles of road that needed to be finished before the parkway could be, you know, completely done. And this was the last bit to be finished. They pieced it together with cranes, and only one piece of all of these is straight. Every other piece of it has some curves to it. It has some, you know, oddness to its shape, and it's all held together by epoxy and steel. It's a fascinating bridge, and I can't put to words how cool it is. I mean, honestly, it's a marvel. It's like standing in like a 1960s version of like a Roman aqueduct. Even though, you know, it was built in the 80s, but I'm sure pretty sure it was designed pretty early on before it was built. Now, actually, what you can see behind the viaduct and the cars is Hawksbill and Table Rock. I have a few videos there. I'll put them in the banner, you know, and they're worth checking out. I like them. I have a video at Table Rock. I have another video at Hawksbill. They have some of my favorite photos. Table Rock's towards fall. Hawksbill's after a storm in the summer. Both of them are pretty fun and enjoyable. I think those are some of the most noticeable mountains in the area, because anytime I see them, I'm like, that's Hawksbill, that's Table Rock. And it's actually right where the Linville Gorge is, which, you know, my next video is probably going to be there because it's beautiful in fall. Here you can see I'm standing in a bit of the rock field. It's a rock, and there's more rocks behind me. There's a tree stump right here. I can actually, right above my head is the tree that seems to have fallen from here. Probably unlikely, but there's a tree over my head that's being held up by other trees. I'll show you guys in the footage. Further up here, There's some boulders. There's a tree right above my head that probably fell from up the mountain. So I don't want to be standing here too long, but you know, it's a good spot. There's good lighting, and there's examples of rocks, right? That I can be in. I can stand in these. A lot of these other spots, there's not room for the tripod, for the camera, and for me to be in a good spot. There's a bit of trail further that way towards Rough Ridge where it's kind of like a tunnel of rhododendrons. And I've come here multiple times trying to time those rhododendrons, only to find that they don't really bloom because they don't get enough sunlight. One time when I came up here where I was just taking photos, you know, it's a beautiful spot to take photos. Around this spot actually, where I ran into a guy who was screaming. It was like, Michael, where are my kids? And he was like screaming about losing his kids. And then I followed him and kind of like calmed him down, talked to him, used the stuff in my backpack to help him get around here because he was a little bit out of shape. Anyway, we found his kids. They weren't kids. There were a bunch of people doing drugs by a creek here, and he was pissed off because he thought they were going to be doing all the drugs without him. So yeah, let that be a lesson for all of you who want to help people in the woods. It was a sketchy situation, but you know, I guess I helped that guy find his kids, right? From this spot, you can actually access, you know, if you go left from behind the camera, you will take the trail back to the visitor center for the Linn Cove Viaduct. If you go right, you'll head towards Rough Ridge, and it's quite the hike, actually. It's a pretty enjoyable hike, I think. It's not the most photogenic hike in the world. I don't have a lot of photos there, but I really enjoy it. It's very beautiful in person. And there's also, you know, you're on the side of Grandfather Mountain. If you guys want to see more of Grandfather Mountain, I'll put the link to the video actually right there. There's space for it this time. So I'm here. Hello. Watch that video. Check that one out. It's me on Grandfather Mountain talking about being grateful for the places that you can go to and exploring the places around you. Because honestly, there's been a lot of cars passing by, but still, I know a lot of people around here that don't come here because they don't think there's anything cool in the area.